a tournament that was foreshadowed in the Champa arc or Universe 6 arc by Zeno, the Omni King, that everyone had long and forgot about, or at least everybody except Goku. Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to a Dragon Ball Super discussion video that I know you guys have been waiting eagerly for me to talk about. Yes, the Universal Survival Arc is what it's called, and it was announced not so long after the Zamasu arc or Future Trunks arc. A couple episodes after that saga was over, it was announced via a poster, and then once we got a few more filler episodes in us, we got to see a little bit more of it in detail. We got to see some trailers, and we even got to see some manga snippets, and we also got to see some scans. So, with that said, a lot of people have really been curious as to what my thoughts are about this saga, and I gotta say, this is probably the saga that's given me the most mix of optimism and pessimism in my life, considering what Dragon Ball Super has put me through. Now, there is some things that Dragon Ball Super has always earned my respect on. Most noticeably, its animation has been a wonky ride, but I think they've found a solid way to do the fighting now, at least to the point where it remains consistent enough to be enjoyed. Even in the filler episodes, like the most recent one with Goku and Krillin, the fights actually look pretty good. And that was just a filler episode, so you can only imagine that a lot of the fights here are expected to be good since their primary focus is on this saga. The filler episodes leading up to this point are going to be basically to keep us busy long enough for them to get this saga released in February 5th. So, needless to say, I'm very excited for this saga to kick off in 2 weeks? So, yeah, that's really exciting, but at the exact same time, I gotta say, this is one of those moments that I have to say it, Super is playing safe. And what I mean by that is not just with the team itself, but also with the move that they're making. Now, don't get me wrong, the idea of a Universal Arc saga involving all of the universes in one giant grandiose tournament does sound appealing at face value, but it also seems kind of close considering that the Champa arc or Universe 6 saga wasn't that long ago. I mean, yeah, the Future Trunks arc was before this one, but still, it feels like it's kind of close in coming to this one. I always felt like this should be a final thing for Super, and from the looks of it, it doesn't look like Super is going to be ending anytime soon. The reason I also say this is because I hate to say it, but to me it kind of feels like Dragon Ball Super is a commercial first and an anime second. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy Super to some degree, and I will definitely say it's more entertaining to me than Dragon Ball GT. There's some aspects that I think GT did that were great startup plans, but poor execution, and when you stop to think about it, execution means a lot when it comes to, executing something. But we're not here to talk about GT, we're here to talk about Dragon Ball Super, and my thoughts on this saga. This saga has me interested when I first saw the team, and it was most noticeably the two characters that you all are going to point out in the saga that are pointed out and are clear as day. They're basically the big pink sore thumbs, and I'm not talking about Majin Buu, coincidentally. I'm actually talking about Gohan and Android 17. So I guess I should talk about them first, considering the fact that they were the first things revealed in the poster that was supposed to be the advertisement poster for this saga. So, Gohan and 17. Well, Gohan, I'm a little disappointed that he's here, to be quite honest. I know a lot of people are saying yay, especially Gohan fans, and don't get me wrong, I do love when Gohan is in battle. It's just my problem is Gohan usually fights to protect or fights because he needs to survive. As a kid, he fought because Piccolo basically forced him into battle due to Piccolo seeing his latent potential. So he was an asset in order to fight off against the Saiyans. He even was going to plan on using Gohan to cause world domination, when Piccolo was still somewhat evil, I guess. However, those plans backfired when Piccolo developed feelings for Gohan. After that, Gohan decided to fight in order to protect and avenge his friends via the Planet Namek saga onward. He fought for the sake of protecting. Goku and Piccolo both saw his potential, so he was able to spring into action and fight not because he wanted to, but because he kind of had no choice. A lot of people get mad at Chi-Chi for wanting Gohan to be a scholar, but actually Gohan enjoys education if you actually take the time to watch a lot of the filler episodes in early Dragon Ball Z. Gohan admires education. He even did complicated college level math problems when he was a little kid in a cave while he was training with under Piccolo's watchful eye. So yeah, it's just, it feels like the fans sort of forced Gohan back into this, and the reason that I say the fans have a big influence is the whole reason the Majin Buu saga started in the Dragon Ball Z saga in the first place. But regardless, I am glad to see that Gohan will be fighting again because it will give us introductions to a lot of his fighting, but it's kind of disappointing to see that he's only here in order to pander to fans. Don't get me wrong, I'm a part of the fandom too, but honestly, I was okay with the development that Gohan was going through because I understood Gohan as a character. He's not just a lustful fighter. He loves to fight. Well, he doesn't love to fight. He loves to protect. So maybe I guess it's for the sake of protecting their universe and in turn protecting Videl and Pan that he's forced to battle. So I get it. I get why he's on the battlefield. It's just kind of jarring to see that he's out here completely contradicting the rules that Super set out for him earlier in this series. But regardless, bygones be bygones. I'll roll with the hype train here, and yes, I will be rolling with a couple of things here like I did in the Future Trunks saga, and try not to dig into them too much, but at the exact same time, I know the series well enough to know a lot of these characters. Next, we should focus on Android 17. Android 17's out here, and I can see that he'll have a lot of potential interactions with Android 18, because to be perfectly honest, Android 17 and Goku have never even met face to face, which I think is pretty funny. In fact, I don't think he's ever even met Gohan, to be perfectly honest. So it's kind of weird to see Android 17 and Goku even in the same spot. So hopefully there'll be some nice interactions between those two characters as well. Android 17, I think, has also had a family at this point because he was a park ranger and even held a gun up to the others to assist a lot of the poachers in order to send energy off to the spirit bomb. So I thought that was a nice little role for Android 17 to have, but that was the only role he had, and it was a brief cameo. Android 17, I gotta say, will be pretty cool because he is a fighter. He actually does enjoy battle. He wanted to fight off against powerful fighters just for the sake of having fun, especially the present timeline 17. The future timeline 17 wanted to fight fighters for the sake of killing them to prove that he was the best, and he was a bit egotistical, whereas in Android 17 in the present was egotistical, but he was fighting for the sake of having fun. He didn't really want to kill or have the same bloodthirst that the Android 17 of the future had, so this competition is actually very fitting for him, and I'm actually pretty excited to see Android 17 in this. Now, granted, should Android 17 and 18 be a lot stronger than they were during their debut of the saga in Dragon Ball Z? I don't know. Debatably, they were stronger than Super Saiyans, but that doesn't really hold much water in Dragon Ball Super. But then again, that goes to another complaint I have, and that involves a character that's also on this list that I will discuss after 17. Long story short, I think 17 is a pretty cool character to bring into this, so it's going to be pretty cool to see him interact, and most of my eyes will be glued on 17 to see how he interacts with the rest of the fighters. Even Piccolo, who was considered basically a rival to him because the two had a real awesome fight within the Android saga, and then even had to team up in order to fight off against Imperfect Cell. So yeah, that will be a very interesting addition to the team, and I think he is the most interesting addition to this team. Now we move on to two of the characters that I think shouldn't be on this team and who I think they should be replaced by. First of all, Master Roshi. Why? Master Roshi can't even fly, which means he's a big disadvantage on this team. Granted, I can say that Master Roshi probably is really smart battle-wise. I will give him that. But I think it's mostly marketing. Master Roshi was on Goku's Z Warriors team during the Resurrection F movie and the Resurrection F saga, and it was only because Akira Toriyama wanted a memorable fighter to be fighting along the Z Warriors, and who more memorable than the first person who taught Goku all of his techniques that he knows anyway. So I get why Master Roshi is here in theory, but in terms of the Resurrection F saga, it wasn't bothering me as much because at that point, Master Roshi was just there to beat up Frieza Grunts, and Frieza Grunts aren't that powerful. Here, this is a tournament to decide the fate of the universe, and I just don't think that a character that can't fly isn't an important detriment to this team. I'm sorry. Master Roshi may be very smart, and he may be very strategical, which even in the Resurrection F movie, he was very strategical and leading the other Z Warriors in order to have an advantage against the Frieza Grunts in their vast numbers. I still don't think that Master Roshi needs to be a fighter here. I can see a lot of gags of him fighting off against female characters and comically getting smacked around a little bit, and while he's having a bloody nose or whatever, or using very perverted techniques to throw the characters off guard and getting sneak attacks. But honestly, I think he would do a lot better as a spectator here rather than a fighter. If you had to replace him, yes, and I know that people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I would replace him with Yamcha, and I will get into further detail of why I would replace him with Yamcha later on in this video. Next person up to bat, Majin Buu. Why is he here? Don't get me wrong, Majin Buu is one of the most powerful fighters on this list, actually, probably rivaling that of Gohan and debatably even Piccolo. But the problem I have with Majin Buu being here is, in the first Universe 6 tournament that they had, Universe 6, Universe 7 tournament that they had to pass a written exam in order to go to the tournament, which is one of the main reasons that Fat Buu failed in the first place. Universe 7 was down one fighter specifically because Fat Buu couldn't pass the written test. Do we really want another character like that being on the team again, especially considering that he failed? Now, marketing, I can see why this was on here as well. Majin Buu was literally the last fighter that Goku fought off against in Dragon Ball Z, so I can see why they put him here. But this is also a marketing not just within the franchise, but also within the series. Mr. Satan or Hercule can claim that Fat Buu is one of his apprentice students, one of his top apprentice students, and if he wins the tournament, then obviously it will be marketing not just on Earth, but universally across the galaxy. So I can see why Fat Buu would be a detriment towards this team, but at the same time, I really don't like the idea of Fat Buu being here specifically for that reason, unless they plan to put him in some legit fights and put him in, have him legitimately do some action. Because the last time that he was on the team, it was a big bust, simply because he failed the written test, and that is a dumb reason. Anyway, so now that I've talked about the characters, I guess I should go on to some other things, because I know you guys really want me to talk about one subject in particular. Let's talk about the gods of... Well, before we talk about the gods of destruction, I want to actually go into the tournament itself. Now, there is no real rules and details on what the tournament will be like yet, and if you can't find some, obviously put them in the comment section. But as of this video, I haven't seen any major rules. I'm hoping for this, and this is my big hope for this tournament. I hope this tournament is not a bracketed tournament like the Universe 6 and 7 tournament was. I actually hope that this is a survival tournament, and the reason that I say this, and what I mean by survival, they use the word survival arc instead of just saying tournament, and my curiosity was bubbling in my head a lot, and they said, why survival? I hope this is kind of like a Forest of Death deal on Naruto or something, or like I want to say like a last one standing battle royale type deal, where all of the members of each team are put in this giant world-like arena. Like the planet itself is an arena. I'm not talking about Shampa's infamous planet with no name planet where there was one ring on that planet. I mean, the whole planet is the battleground. The entire planet. And all of the fighters need to go grab, kind of like a Holy Grail deal. They need to grab a thing and claim it, or be the last fighter in that area to claim it. And if the last fighters are from that team, then they will win. So it's a last one standing type deal. I really hope it's that. And this is also why I think that this can give some leeway for team-ups. Specifically, a lot of you all are saying, oh, well, if you want to exclude Master Roshi, why not Tien, Yamcha, why not Tien and Krillin? Well, first of all, Krillin is there, and that means that he can team up with characters like Gohan, Piccolo, Tien, and Android 18, and Goku. Fighters that Krillin has teamed up with before, it makes sense. And also, the reason I say Yamcha could be on here instead of Master Roshi, this gives Yamcha and Tien a chance to team up, and I think they would make for a really good team, because Dragon Ball Z sort of puts them together most of the time anyway. Piccolo is a great strategic fighter, so he's actually very tactical and can lead the rest of the Z Warriors to victory. I honestly think that there could be some potential for all of this to happen if this is the rules of the tournament. So, moving on to the Gods of Destruction. I'm going to stay brief on them because there's not really much to say about them. I like the fact that they're each teamed up with their respective Supreme Kais. I love the fact that we got to see Gawasu again, so he is taking place in the tournament, so I thought that was really cool. And I also think that it's pretty interesting that one of them looks like a clown and the other one looks like Harley Quinn, Joker Harley Quinn type deal. Not really, like I said, not really much to say about them per se, and I think we'll get most of their interactions when they're all together. Obviously, Champa and Beerus are going to be like the annoying brothers that hate each other, but it's going to be interesting to see the other Gods of Destruction at work. And there's also interesting, there's one clonked warrior behind the Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai in one of the universes. I can't remember what it is, but he's back there, so it's going to be weird to see what's going on there. Honestly, I really hope that this tournament in itself isn't going to play safe a lot. I really hope that there's a lot of things that they take a lot of risk for. This is a lot of potential. Now, here's the thing. Dragon Ball Super has a lot of potential in this saga. And even they've pointed out that the Daishinkan, basically the ruler of the angels, he has like an ominous smile in the manga clips that you can see, so they can't be hinting at him being an evil mastermind, but I'm not going to leave that one up to rumor or speculation. I'm not even going to touch that yet because there's no proof. Otherwise, we end up in a Goku Black situation where people start thinking Goku Black is Goten, like way back then. Last but not least, and I know you guys really want to talk to me to talk about this, and I got 4 minutes to do it. Female Broly. This is pandering to a large level, and this is what gets me worried about this saga the most. Making a female Super Saiyan is fine to me. I have no problem with that. I think that's really interesting. I hope she's not from the same universe as Kaba, though, because then that would completely contradict what Kaba said about no Saiyans being able to transform. And it's just, I think it's going to be really annoying that she's here only because why look like Broly? First of all, it looks so out of place. It doesn't fit at all. If we go from a frail girl to this giant buff woman, it looks awkward too because Broly has pecs and female Broly has boobs, so the boobs just awkwardly are on the pec. It looks ridiculous. It looks goddamn ridiculous. It looks fucking stupid. I'm sorry for my language. But it looks really fucking stupid. It looks so silly, and it's all because people want Broly to be in Super. Broly doesn't need to be in Super, and if you're going to make a chaotic female Super Saiyan, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. I have no problem with that, but don't make her look exactly like Broly. That is annoying, because it's fan pandering, and it's just it's there to sell toys, and it's goddamn dumb. It's really dumb. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, and this is what I'm talking about when I say Dragon Ball Super acts more like a commercial than it does a series. It's gimmicky. I don't like the fact that it's so gimmicky. It feels synthetic. It doesn't feel genuine at all. It feels like she's simply there to have a lot of kawaii moments at first and be fragile and shy, and then when it comes down to it, she's gonna flip, turn into Broly, and it's gonna be just dumb. It's going to be dumb. Like, it's not going to be fitting at all. But I really hope that's the only thing that they do. I also saw that they brought Frost back. I don't know why the hell they did that, aka Frieza 2.0. Super is running on really thin ice with this tournament with me, though, because like I said, the Champa arc really messed up on some potentials. Hopefully they learned from their mistakes. That's why I said that this saga should have taken a little bit longer to come out, but hopefully they learn from their mistakes, develop all of these new potential characters they're going to put in, and I really hope that they take the time. I hope they think this out. Not like the last two sagas where they didn't think this out. I hope they take the time to really sit down and think all of this out. But until then, I'll stay a little optimistic. So with that said, I'll see you all then, everybody. Till this tournament, Tyrone the God 3 out.